Hello beautiful people, welcome back, and today we're going to be talking about Apple Music's 100 greatest albums of all time. This list has caused a firestorm on social media, and I'm not going to go over all 100 albums, but I'm just going to go over some of the placements that really stick out to me and that caught my eye. And at number 100, we have Body Talk by Robyn. And Body Talk is a fantastic album. I always see the centerpiece of this album, Dancing on My Own, getting its flowers and praise, but I don't feel like Body Talk as a whole is held in the same regard, even though it's great. You have Call Your Girlfriend, Hang With Me, Love Kills, Indestructible. It's just a fantastic record, and I'm glad to see it here. At number 98, we have Astroworld by Travis Scott, which is a good album, but I honestly don't think it should be here. I've seen Astroworld included on so many of these lists, and it's not even Travis's best work. It's just his most popular. At number 96, we have Pure Heroine by Lorde, and I love this album. It's very influential to the modern pop landscape, but make no mistake, Melodrama is the better album, and I would have ranked Melodrama even much higher than Pure Heroine. And the same applies to number 92 with Flower Boy by Tyler the Creator. Flower Boy is a fantastic album, but Igor blows it out of the water. It's not even that Flower Boy is bad, it's just that Igor is just that good. At number 89, we have The Fame Monster by Lady Gaga, and I would say it's a good album, no problem with that. Number 88, I Put a Spell on You by Nina Simone. Pastel Blues would have been my pick, but I love this album as well. Number 85 is Golden Hour by Kacey Musgraves, which is a good album, but top 100, I don't know, it's kind of a safe pick. For number 84, Doggy Style by Snoop Dogg, and I love Doggy Style. It's a quintessential hip hop record. I actually would have ranked it higher than some of these other albums. Number 79 is Norman Rockwell by Lana Del Rey, and I say great pick. If this list was a little longer, I would say that multiple Lana albums could have made it. Number 77 is Like a Prayer by Madonna, which is surprisingly low, and I'm also shocked that it was Like a Prayer that was chosen, given her selection of many good albums, but Like a Prayer is a great album. I love that album. Number 75 is Super Duper Fly by Missy Elliott, some female rap representation. It's such a cohesive and good album. 72 is SOS by SZA, and I do not think this album belongs in the list at all. It is a good album, I enjoy so much of it, but it's too long, it's a bit unfocused, and Control is so much better, so much more influential as well. Number 66 is The Queen is Dead by The Smiths, and I'm actually surprised that this album didn't rank higher, at least within the top 50. It's a flawless album. Number 64 is Baduizm by Erykah Badu. Love this album, a prototype neo-soul album, flawless. Number 62 is All Eyes on Me by Tupac, and in my opinion, this is Tupac's best album, only rivaled by Me Against the World. I would have ranked it higher, if anything. Number 61 is Love Deluxe by Sade. Love Sade, glad she's here. Number 55 is Anti by Rihanna. I don't think Anti is one of the greatest albums of all time, especially not by this much. I mean, it's a good Rihanna album, but there were so much more interesting albums from this time period, from the alt R&B and pop scene that she pulled from for this album that was much better. Even down to the note by note Tame Impala cover. I think Anti is so highly rated in particular because it's a big detour for Rihanna. And even her albums like Loud get paid dust in favor of Anti. Number 51, we have Sign of the Times by Prince. Love this record. Number 50, Hounds of Love by Kate Bush. Also fantastic pick. Number 44 is Inner Visions by Stevie Wonder. I feel like this is way too low. This is easily top 30, top 20. Number 42 is Control by Janet Jackson. While I do enjoy Control a lot, it is not Janet's best album, and I wouldn't say it's aged the best in terms of sound. Now, I'm not opposed to this being on the list because Control is very influential and it was groundbreaking for its time, but albums like Rhythm Nation and The Velvet Rope were miles better than Control. Number 39 is Illmatic by Nas. I expect to see Illmatic on every list because it's that good. Number 36 is Beyonce's Self-Titled. And Self-Titled is a great record, but it's one of those things where I feel like it's Beyonce's big detour, so it receives more hype. I don't think it's a top 40 album, and I think Renaissance should have been in its place. Number 35 is London Calling by The Clash. Fantastic album. It has so many classics, and it's just masterful. Number 31 is Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette. And I think it's probably deserving to be on this list, but a top 31 album, top 40 album, no. I really enjoy many aspects of the album, but I don't think the non-singles are as good as the singles. Number 30 is When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go by Billie Eilish. Once again, a good album, but top 30 is a bit much. Number 26 is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West, and I say well deserved. But I do think some of Kanye's other classic albums get thrown to the side in favor of Twisted Fantasy when some of them are arguably better. And I say the same for number 24, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie. Fantastic skipless record, but I think Bowie has other albums like Hunky Dory, Station to Station, and Heroes that really rival Ziggy Stardust, but Ziggy Stardust is always the obvious pick. Number 23 is Discovery by Daft Punk, and I say well deserved. I'm actually surprised to see an electronic/dance album rated so highly, but it is a fantastic album and it definitely deserves its flowers on here. Number 20 is Pet Sounds, of course, because it's Pet Sounds. Fantastic album as well. Number 18 is 1989 Taylor's Version. Absolutely not. I don't think any Taylor Swift album, whether the original or re-recording, is a top 60 album in all of recorded music. But the fact that it's a Taylor's Version album just makes it worse. It just makes me wonder if this was chosen to be politically correct, because none of the re-recordings besides maybe Fearless Taylor's Version is better than the original. There's so many technical errors, so many vocal problems in all of the re-recordings. Some sound rushed, and a lot of the production on the re-recordings lack the same detail as the original. We just can't act like 1989 Taylor's Version is better than the original, because it is not. And even if it was the original, it definitely does not deserve to be this high. Number 17 is What's Going On by Marvin Gaye, and it's a quintessential album. I feel like it's one of those albums where everything is just masterfully done. Number 16 is Blue by Joni Mitchell. I think the position is well deserved. Great album, not much else to say. Number 15 is 21 by Adele. While I love 21, I think it should be on this list. Top 15 is a bit high, but there's just so many knockout songs on this album, it's hard to be mad at. Number 11 is Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. It's one of those albums that are so critically and commercially successful. It's like, how could it not be here and so high at that? It's a good album. Number 10 is Lemonade by Beyonce. I do like Lemonade a lot, but it would not be a top 10 album of all time for me. I do think it deserves to be on this list. It's one of the best of the 2010s decade, and some of Beyonce's best work. Number 9 is Nevermind by Nirvana. Earth-shattering record, totally deserved. Number 8 is Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. I love Back to Black, and I love Amy's writing so much, but I just would not rate it a top 8 album. But I'm not mad at it at all. Number 7 is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. I'm surprised that they didn't go with To Pimp a Butterfly, but I'm kind of glad it's not the obvious choice. Good Kid, Mad City is a great album and also deserves its flowers. Number 6 is Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. And I think this should be at least a top 5 album. This album is amazing from start to finish. Stevie Wonder's classic period is untouchable. Number 5 is Blonde by Frank Ocean, which was a hot debate and topic. And I definitely think it deserves to be on this list, but is it a top 5 album to me? No. Number 4 is Purple Rain by Prince and the Revolution. And it is a classic album in every way. I think it's a perfect album, in fact. One thing I love about Purple Rain is that the artistic integrity is never compromised. Number 3 is Abbey Road by the Beatles. Abbey Road is a very hyped album, but it is a genuinely great album and groundbreaking album. Number 2 is Thriller by Michael Jackson. Why in the world does Off the Wall keep getting thrown to the side in favor of Thriller and Bad on these lists? Off the Wall is an amazing album. It's his best album and his most cohesive effort. I get it, Thriller is largely influential, the best-selling album of all time, but it is not MJ's best. Thriller is a collection of some really great singles, but as an album, as a listening experience, Off the Wall is so much better. Now obviously Thriller is still a goated album, but I don't think it's Michael's best or the number 2 album. And number 1 is The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And honestly, I'm not mad at this pick at all. If anything, I'm more surprised that they actually chose an album from the 90s to fill up this spot, because usually for the number one spots on these lists, it's usually albums from the 80s and 70s. But The Miseducation is a wonderful album. Everything that has been said about this album is true. It's great, it's well performed. I don't think it has one skip. It's well produced, like the writing is fantastic. I love this album to death. And although number one picks can never satisfy everyone, The Miseducation is stellar. One thing I enjoyed about this list is their overall inclusion of more recent history albums, because sometimes when you look at these lists, it can look like they've never been updated, and the more recent albums are usually on the tail end. But I think this list at least sought to be fair to all acts, but obviously some of the placements are insane. I think there were a few snubs, and these are just some that instantly came to my mind. Aaliyah's self-titled third album, Donna Summer's Bad Girls. It's almost as if disco albums from the peak disco era never get to see these lists or be held in high regard. Depeche Mode, Violator, songs from The Big Chair, Tears for Fears, All in All or I Am by Earth, Wind & Fire. Also, there was no girl groups or bands on this list at all, which is insane. I'm sure there's more snubs, but these are just the ones that instantly came to my mind. Comment which album you think was snubbed and tell me what you thought about this list down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.